Hi friends, it's Sintang Mayumi. For today's cards, I will be using Altenew Winter Cottage stamp. This is one of the mini stamp that Altenew has. I really like this scene stamp. I will also be using Heffy Doodle Masquerade Stencil for today's cards. I have my panels cut to 4 7/8 by 3.5 inches. I will do some ink blending on these cards. I will add tape on the back of the panel to hold it in place and add the stencil on top of the panel, and I will also secure my stencil with washi tapes on 3 sides. I have my swatch of Oxide ink combinations that I made a couple months ago. Having this swatches made it so easy for me to do ink blending because I don't have to think of color combinations to use on my cards. For my first panel, I will use mustard seed, pink raspberry, and wilted violet distress oxide inks. I'm also using my small blending brush to blend the colors on the paper. I use small blending brush because I'm only working on small space, and small makeup brush is good to have for that. For this next panel, I'm using scattered straw, broken china, and Seedless preserves distress oxide inks. Next panel, I use two colors, and it's the broken china and pink raspberry distress oxide inks. I only use two on this panel because when you blend these two inks, you will get purple color in the middle. For the last panel, I will use squeezed lemonade, tumbled glass, and wilted violet distress oxide inks. After the blending is done, I'm going to stamp my scene image with Versafine Onyx black ink. I want a snowy scene, so what I'm going to do is splatter some white paint on the panels. I'm using Winsor and Newton Zinc White Gouache. I added a little bit in my small dish and activate the paint with water. I will do the splattering inside an empty box so the paint doesn't go everywhere on my desk. And I'm using a toothbrush so I get tiny splatters on my cards or on my panels. I have DCWV Winter Frost 6x6 paper pad for matting my cards. I will choose the patterns that I like to use, and I will cut them to 5 1/4 by 4 1/8 inches. For my card base, I cut my cardstock to 11 by 4 1/4 inches and score it in half. And my cardstock is from Paper Tree Ink. Now let's go ahead and adhere everything together. So I'm just going to adhere the pattern paper first on the card base, and then I will adhere my panel second, And I'm just using my ATG gun here to make my workflow fast. You can also use liquid glue if that's what you have. I also like using liquid glue sometimes because it gives me time to center my panel, unlike when you're using double-sided tape or dry adhesive. When you stick your paper, you're already committed to it. For my sentiments, I already went ahead and stamped Merry Christmas with Versafine Onyx black ink on scraps of red cardstock. I will pop them up on the cards using foam tape. And I'm using my tweezer here to help me align the sentiments straight on the cards. For the inside of the cards, I'm using tumbled glass and wilted violet distress oxide inks. I will stamp the scene image again in the middle. And then I will stamp over the scene image with a sentiment, and I'm using Paper Tree Ink Holiday Stamp Set. I pull out my Misti so I can stamp the sentiment a few times if I need to, and I'm just lining up the sentiment in the middle on top of the scene image, and I'm going to ink it up with Versafine Onyx black ink. I will do the same thing with these cards here, and I use different sentiment from the stamp set. I also colored the barn or house with red zig marker. I almost forgot to color them, and it's good I remembered it. And lastly, I used diamond stickles to add a little bit of glitters on my scene. And my cards are finished. I love these scene cards, and the blended colors are really pretty. I hope you like today's cards, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.